Check it out. We are gonna go from this plain stale white noise into this vibrant, powerful electricity. That isn't it. This is the electricity. Now you may be thinking, is that all? No. Even then. Yep. So all of these are intended as layers. I did 3 because I really wanted to nail down what the formulas were. I also tested out a bunch of different paid free plugins. This track in particular that we're going to go through is all free plugins. Yeah, trying to look out for the save money community and all that. We come from humble beginnings. But yeah, okay, so to get this sound, you need to kind of keep 4 things in mind, or 4 types of plugins in mind. So you can use anything, but yeah, just keep these things in mind and you should get your desired sound. And that is ring modulation for texture, distortion for character, grit, bite, comb filtering for tonality, and then a gate or some form of amplification modulation module so that you can get more character from your static sound. Yes, so starting with ring modulation, the one that I'm using over here is from Melda. What's really nice about it is you can cycle through a bunch of these presets to get a variety of different sounds. So yeah, you do that, you get a very nice bass to build your electricity sound off of. One thing you want to keep in mind is the depth parameter, which will basically control your noise at 0% to texture like amount. I left mine at 40% for this one because, I don't know, it works. Cool. The next thing is distortion. Over here I have it set to foldback and I am modulating the drive. Distortion, you are trying to get some grit, some style, some punch, some just lively energy out of the source signal, so it's, I guess just more natural, more interesting. And that sounds like this. Yeah, pretty cool. Other things to keep in mind, I can't remember what these were set to at default, but yes, dynamics is over here, 60, 55%, bias all the way, mix 40%. Guess let's have a look at the modulation real quick. And as you can see here, I have an LFO, shape is set to random, speed is at as fast as possible, strength 61%, negative, and yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of play around with it. The only thing I kind of recommend is the fact that it's random so that you can weird hang. But yeah, I hope the only thing you need to keep in mind that it's set to random and the speed is quite fast, so that it has that kind of unpredictable nature characteristic to it. Next thing is comb filtering. And all you want to do with this is first set yours to 40 Hertz plus minus 20 Hertz to kind of get a sound that is very kind of tonal, metal, because of the way that the resonances work with comb filtering. That sounds like this. So yeah, getting closer and closer to our sound. Mine is modulated. See over here. So I'll be kind of slow, strength at 10%. And the reason being is I like the way that the comb filter kind of, I don't know, has this downward pull towards its tone. And I doubled that so that there's a kind of phasing in sync with like the resonances, so they kind of peak at certain points. It sounds cool. That's about it. Cool. Next thing is the gate, which is our amplification modulation. The parameters you want to pay attention to are threshold, tolerance, attack, and release. So make sure all of these are low. Tolerance also low. and threshold is kind of modulating in the same way as like distortion at a relatively high value. And the idea here is that the signal is coming into the gate, but we only want to catch certain amounts of it. We want to bounce in between on and off, basically. And so that it's not too jarring, we also set the hold to like, what is this, 168 milliseconds. Yeah, and that sounds like this. Yeah, pretty cool. Next we have OTT, multi-band compression. I found the most success from pumping up the highs and lows and dimming the mids just a smidge. Anything else to say about that? Not really. It just gives, I don't know, you more control over the sound at the end of the day, which is always nice. So yeah, I feel like the highs gives us that real crackly, high energy feeling. Dimming the mids gives a lot more room to the sound, and then pushing up the lows just gives more body to it. More feeling of like, I don't know, below the surface energy, whatever you want to call it. And then finally we have delay, which is very interesting because it has two kind of purposes. We need the delay to trail off the sound that the gate is producing, going in and out, that is. So when we combine that with the gate, it'll have that more natural effect. The second effect is if we bring this delay all the way down to 30 milliseconds or lower, it kind of has this metal tone characteristic to it. So it doubles in terms of like aiding the effect, but also giving a bit more character to it as well. Then finally we have a transient shaper, which is just pumping up each time the gate activates or lets the sound through, which, you know, makes it pop more, giving that kind of static electricity kind of feeling. Yeah, that's about it. Limiter, just so we don't blow our ears. Stereo, because the signal was wide at some point. So that's that. Hope that helps.